All right, here we go. Paradox of Sports, episode 35, Super Bowl week. Before we get into that, though, we'll chit chat a bit. Jack, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, we're doing well. We're in the middle of a busy hockey weekend here for the girls. We got 4 games. We've played 2. We got 2 more to go. So by the time this is aired, I think the 3rd game will have already been played. Then maybe the 4th in the morning. So we'll have it ready for people to watch a little bit leading into the Super Bowl. So first, what's the weather? Has it got cold down there yet?
Yeah, it's been pretty cold, but it's been really nice in the afternoon.
Has that changed up any of because you've been doing some baseball stuff, right?
But it was at nighttime, so I was really cold. And we
Oh,
can't
yeah.
do anything indoors, so I have to brave the outdoors. And my hands get numb. I lost a challenge for my baseball team because of that.
Yeah, and it's freezing cold.
Where I had it's where I had to throw a strike. It's basically just where I had to throw a strike. But the strike zone was a bit smaller than normal, and I couldn't form a fastball, so I had to throw a changeup. And I
Gotcha.
I got it in, but they said that I didn't because it hit like the bottom of that thing that was made with the strike zone. It hit the bottom and then it rolled in.
Nice. Well, if we're going to stay on task with the cold weather and talk about a sport that is cold, we'll no drum roll. We won't do the drum roll, but why don't you tell everyone who we had the chance to sit down and talk with?
Pueblo Bulls Hockey assistant general manager David Nelson.
Nice. So
or general manager, not the assistant.
Yeah, he's general manager. You have the office. You have office brain. Assistant to the general manager. You have little office. So yeah, he's a GM. He runs things and he coaches down there. This was one of my favorites. So let's chat a little while with Mr. Nelson.
I know this is. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here, and look forward to a good conversation.
All right. Well, as we always do, we're going to throw it to Jack to get things started. So Jack, take her away.
What got you into hockey?
So I grew up in a small town just south of St. Cloud, Minnesota, Becker, Minnesota. My dad actually he's been playing hockey his whole life and coached hockey at various levels. And so with his hockey background, he got me into it right when I was a young kid. At the age of 2 and 3 years old, I started skating at the outdoor rinks. And then he grew up in a small town in northern Minnesota called Warroad, Minnesota. And I moved there when I was in middle school. And that's really what, took off for the hockey aspect of me. It's got a very rich hockey background and tradition up there with Olympians, NHLers, college players, men's and women's. And once I moved up there, it was, basically all hockey. So a lot of the credit to where I'm at today is not only to my parents and my family, but starting my hockey background, my dad was one of the biggest developers there.
As we were talking before, I'm kind of right in the middle of where you and Jack and Pueblo. I'm kind of right in the middle between where you grew up and Pueblo in Northeast Wyoming. I have several folks that my daughters, they're on the high school hockey team here, and we have some folks from Minnesota, and talking hockey with them. Can you put into perspective for the Southeast Colorado people kind of the hockey pecking order? Like that is the thing up there. When you were a little boy, like hockey is the thing.
Yeah. No, you nailed it right on the bulletin board there. It's we're not the state of hockey for any reason in Minnesota there, right? And so basically you're either in a hockey rink or you got 10,000 lakes to find a way to skate on. So hockey's it's in all of our bloods back there in Minnesota. And so once you're born and you're kind of into a hockey family, you don't really find a way to fall out. You're either playing, like I said, in the rinks or out in the ODR, playing with family, playing with, friends, cousins, whatever it is, you name it. it really is a special thing to not only be from Minnesota, but again, hockey is the best sport in the world, and have it in our lifetime is awesome.
Hey, Jack, I'm going to hijack you for 1 second because I see on your questions you kind of start out at the US with the USHL level, and just the interest in me. I want to talk about a little bit about the youth hockey. So, when was the first time you skated compared to the first time you started actually playing hockey?
Yeah, so I like I said, my dad, big hockey background. He played growing up, all that, and I was probably about 2 to 3 years old when I put my first skates on. Just going, like I said, to the outdoor rink, or finding just open ice at the local ice rink. I didn't start playing, I guess like team, youth hockey probably until I was a mite at like 4 or 5. So a couple years there, obviously just playing the tiny mite aspect of it, where it's more open house or rec league, however you want to phrase it. And then once I started getting to the mite level, like I said, 4 or 5 years old, that's kind of where I took the first aspect of team, hockey teams and stuff like that.
And did they still follow the mite, squirt, peewee, bantam, midget? Is that how it worked?
So back home, yeah, it was mite, squirt, Pee Wee, Bantam, then high school. So Minnesota is a little bit different than like Colorado or different areas, right? So like out in Colorado here, you got your youth hockey, your squirts, your Pee Wees, your Bantams, and then you have like your midgets, right? You can do 16U AAA, 18U AAA. To where those are the kind of the same age group as high school, so they have both options out here in Colorado. In various places, like in California as well. But mainly back in Minnesota, you kind of stick to the mites, the squirts, peewees, bantams, and then high school. I believe they have actually changed the name just to like 16U and 14U. But once you've been doing it your whole life, doesn't really change that. So it's like Pee-wee's, 16U Pee-wee or whatever you want to phrase it. So they kind of follow the same terminology, but yeah, that's kind of the name of the game now.
Okay, this is my last one, Jack. Then I'll let you take back over. We have a NA3HL team here in Gillette. So the Wild is our junior team.
Mm-hmm.
I do the announcing, play the music, like the public address for it. I love it. It is so much fun. In a conversation I had, they weren't playing hockey in Minnesota yet, and we had a young man here who just showed up, had got picked up, and he was a stud.
Yeah.
Well, I only saw him for 2 games, and then at Christmas break he left and he didn't come back. And I asked why, and the lady was like, "Well, his high school team is starting up after." And I was like, "Well, why would he stay with his high school team and not come back?" And she says that's the high school team would pound our junior team. And
Yeah.
I was kind of caught off guard. And she said, no, because they're from there. She goes, you don't understand the level of hockey that the high school competes at up there. So was she full of crap, or is she on the right mark?
No, she's on the right mark. Obviously, again, just like any leagues, right? There's your top end teams and your bottom end teams. But I think the biggest thing that you see there, without her talking about the talent of the team, is the loyalty aspect of playing for your hometown, right? Back home in Warroad, it's an absolute honor to play for such a rich community and in a small community that supports, all athletes, whether you are a football player, basketball player, or a hockey player. But a lot of it is you're representing community, you're representing a town, you're representing your family, and again, it's probably the opportunity to play at that level where. Again, whether you're a young player at the youth level, you dream of playing, those Friday night games, Saturday night games against your crosstown rival or whatever it is. And that's something that, again, is very special to not only, yourself, but your family, right? You put in a lot of work to get to that opportunity, to have that chance to put on your hometown jersey and play with pride. And but it's there's a lot of good high school teams there where let's example like my when I played in high school, we had a few guys go on to like USHL and get drafted and things like that. but then again, as it goes past, there's kids that were in Pee-wees and BAMs that I watch. And I was like, man, these guys are going to have incredible high school careers, and they're going on to play Division I hockey. They're going on to play, professional hockey and get those opportunities. So yeah, it's I don't know if it's just something that's in the water up in Minnesota or what, but we definitely find a way to breed very talented players.
Okay, Jack, I'll be quiet for a little bit. I'll let you ask some of your questions now.
Okay. You started your career in the United States Hockey League with the Rochester Mustangs. Talk about your experience on a professional hockey team for the first time.
No, so I actually I went to high school in Warwood, Minnesota. I graduated in 2011, and then I played for the El Paso Rhinos out of the Western States Hockey League. And so I went down to El Paso, Texas. So basically went from one border to the next. Went to the Canadian border down to the Mexican border, and I spent 3 years there to where my first year I was just again a fresh young adult, 18 years old, leaving home for the first time, living with a billet family. The experience was top notch. I had a good first year. Decided I wanted to go back, and had great success. And so from playing 3 years down in El Paso, my last year I had an opportunity to be one of the team captains, along with our head coach Chris Wilhite and another assistant coach of ours, Austin Hoff. We all three played together down in El Paso. Actually, in our last year, we ended up winning the Thorn Cup Championship, which is our league championship, and then moving on to winning a national championship. So a little bit different of a path, but following the junior hockey landscape, it was a great opportunity for me, and it was nothing I would change for the world.
That's another aspect from the southeastern Colorado sporting landscape is there's still passion for the sports down there. You see it in different communities. You have your strong wrestling, baseball, football, basketball. Everyone's kind of got the thing that they're passionate about. But the one thing I was not familiar with until I got up here and was around hockey was the billet concept.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the whole billeting. Basically, what a billet is it's a family that takes in these young men and women, and they're your family. You live there. If you're going to school there, you eat, laundry, like you move into their home. So how across like the hockey landscape, how important is the billeting aspect of it?
It is. It's we tell our guys all the time that again these are people that have never met you. You've never met them, right? You're basically walking into a stranger's house, but they're opening their doors for you to help you achieve your goals at the end of the day. And we're firm believers that junior hockey doesn't run without billet families. If you don't have a great group of families that A, support the player that's in their household, B, support the organization, and C, want to just at the end of the day help these guys achieve their goals, that's a big box that needs to get checked. And if it doesn't get checked, it makes things very difficult. That's one thing that we're very blessed with here in Pueblo. Lisa Simnick, who is our billet coordinator, has done a fantastic job finding our billets and allowing them to understand that this is a different scenery change with these players coming in, living in your household, just for 6-7 months out of the year, and then they go back and they might ever come back, return for the next year, right? This could be a one-stop shop. It could be a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal, whatever the case may be. But billet families are essential to have to have a successful organization in junior hockey, and it's something that relationship wise, I'll tell you right now that you keep your entire life. I still keep in contact with my billets, and I've been out of playing junior hockey now for 8 to 10 years, and we still communicate on the regularly, as far as just checking in, how are things going, how's the family, how's the kids, how's just life in general, and they follow your career path as a player, right? Again, once I was done playing in El Paso, I went on to St. Mary's University and went to college there, and they followed me there. And I guess going around the sun last year when we were in the Western States, we got to play the Rhinos and our old junior team, and so going back down to El Paso and getting to see them again, it is something special, and they are a very critical piece to, like I said, have a successful organization.
Was that something you had, I don't want to say trouble with, but when you were approaching, when the hockey was coming to Pueblo, was the billet concept something that caught on? Because like I said, if it's not a hockey community, I mean, it's the people that are billeting love hockey, at least here in Gillette. I mean, the people that are doing this, they not only are they billeting, but they're the ones showing up and taping the games, announcing the games, taking tickets. Like the function of the team here. Not only are the billets housing and feeding the boys,
Right.
They're the ones, the goal judges, they're running the clock, the point streak. Like the billet family part is very important. So did that catch on fast in Pueblo, or was that something that took a little while to sell?
A little bit of both. So to kind of give you the full background of us, we actually had the chance to when our owners Jerry and Lori got the team. We had decided to take our first year off. And the reason for that is not from the hockey side. Obviously that helps. It gives us a full year and a half to do our recruiting and things like that. But there were things, here in the community of Pueblo that we needed to, again, check boxes. We wanted to make sure that we had everything in place. We didn't want to just go, guns blazing and just at the whim of it, take on challenges. We wanted to make sure that, again, we wanted to create a fan base early. We wanted support. We wanted to find off-ice officials. We needed to find billet families. But it did catch on quick as far as once we made that impact, once we started signing players, once we understood that, again, once you kind of find like one person, right, it's word of mouth. Hey, we're going to do this. Oh, that might be pretty cool. Telling them about our experiences. Again, the hockey community is so small to where, we might have a family here in Pueblo that has, again, a relative of some sort that might have already billeted, a hockey player in a different community, and they ask them about it and they say it's a great experience. So it was something that right off the hop was pretty slow, but once we got things rolling, it kind of picked up pretty quick.
Then you went to the Texas Tornado in the NAHL before going to the NCAA. Did you get any other offers besides Augsburg, a D3 school which you excelled at?
So I went to St. Mary's University. I thought St. Mary's, obviously in Minnesota, being in Winona, Minnesota, was a good fit for me on the academic side of things as well. But I was away from home for about 3-4 years when I was in El Paso. And so once I had the opportunity to go back and attend school in Minnesota, I thought that was the best fit for me. It was close to home, but yet a distance away where, again, you don't need the necessity of going home every weekend. But St. Mary's was a great choice for me on the academic side. At the end of the day, my end goal was to, graduate and have an opportunity at the next stage of my life, whether at that time was a job in the business world, marketing, managing, whatever it is, or finding an opportunity here on the hockey side of things. So once I had that choice to go to St. Mary's, that was my best fit.
I have a feeling that there are multiple David Nelsons.
Yeah, it's an absolute common name. You're probably not far off, but I think what you guys are doing here with this podcast and the way you guys have your energy and whatnot to ask these questions is absolutely fantastic. So I'm still excited to be here.
Talk one more before, because then Jack's going to get into to everything in Pueblo.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was different from being a fresh eye on the hockey thing is how it works from the the normal, I'm not even going to call it the normal, but the traditional structure of you do 4 years high school, then you do 4 years of college, you graduate, you get your degree, then you go on and do what you want to do. Hockey's, again, they don't follow that
Yeah.
tradition because we've seen 15 and 16-year-old kids go off to be billeted, and then they're playing on junior teams when they're 17, 18 for the chance to get on at a D2 or D1 school to get some school paid for to get their degree. So while that seemed insane to me, that is another thing that's very common in the hockey world.
Yeah, that was obviously depending on the knowledge of different paths, I guess you can say, in the hockey side of things. That was something that, to be honest with you, again, my dad has a hockey background. He's been in the game his entire life. My mom, not so much. When my parents ended up first meeting, she had no idea really what the game of hockey was, right? And so she was always that number one support, number one fan in the building, not understanding why this happened or why that happened or why you didn't do this or why you should have done that better or whatever the case may be. And then once we got obviously to the high school level and you're looking at next steps of your career, again, comparing hockey to other sports, the traditional route is, you're playing, 3 or 4 years of high school, you're getting college offers right out of the gate, and you're, making your choice of what school to go to, what to study in school, that sort of thing. And then having, the junior side of things where it is a little bit untraditional. You get to have the opportunity to take a couple years of school off and then just play hockey and focus on development, next stages of your life, once you're hopefully able to have a few successful years. And then, the colleges start coming. So it's as far as development in that aspect, a lot of college coaches prefer their players to play a year or two of juniors to get bigger, faster, stronger, and check those boxes, right? But then, you are going into school as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old freshman. And that was myself walking into, I remember the first day of college as a 21-year-old, you're walking into, 18-year-olds and you're like, whoa, this is a little bit different. But at the end
they're all asking you to buy them beer.
Yeah,
That's happening. Yeah.
It was, it was like I said, it was a different change. But again, you're out of the school side of things, right, for 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is. And then you're hopping back into it. But no, there are different paths. And I think at the end of the day, like I have told my family and the people that supported me and my choices, I wouldn't change it. I thought this was the best path for me. I don't believe I was ready to go to college at the age of 18, not only on the hockey side, but the academic side too, where for my development as a student, I thought it was best to take a step back, really understand what I wanted to study and go after and find the right place for me. And that's where I like I said before, having the opportunity to go to St. Mary's, it's a smaller school, classroom sizes are a bit smaller. The attention to detail is a little bit better. Communication with your professors is something that was important for me. And so, again, junior hockey is a different animal as far as paths. And I think for us, our entire staff has gone through that, playing juniors, going on to college. And now we're kind of back at this part of it, running our own organization and having the support there. And so it's easy for us to communicate with our players on that basis of things, saying, hey, this is our experience, right? This is what worked for us. This is what didn't. This is what I wish we would have done. And again, if you look at it, we're not far removed from, the junior hockey world of as far as that, right? We're only, again, 8 years out of junior hockey, 3 to 4 years out of college. And so we feel like, we do a really good job as far as relating to our players on that side of things.
Now you coach for the Bulls here in Pueblo. What are you looking forward to in this organization?
I think what I look forward to every day is getting the opportunity to go to the ice rink every day. Like I said, I'm our entire staff. We're all hockey guys. We enjoy waking up. We enjoy going to work. We enjoy helping these guys achieve their goals. And I think that's something that I most look forward to, having the chance to, give back to something that the process we believe in is a good process with these guys going the junior route, then moving on to college. Giving back to our community is something that's very important to us. So we try to find ways to, again, outside of the year of COVID, be involved in the community as much as possible. And I think the other aspect of it, every day is a new day. So something that has always been kind of a place of quiet but hectic at the same time has been the ice arena for me. So it's something that, again, I get to go to work every day and I enjoy what I do. I get to go to work and help these guys achieve their goals. And I think that's something that, I look forward to every day.
When you talk about the Bulls, like what is the roster structure? I'm not as familiar with your guys' level. What is your roster like? Are there restrictions on age limits? You can have so many of a certain age, or how does that work at that level?
Yep. So we're allowed, to break it down fully. This isn't our roster right now, but we are allowed some younger guys at the 16, 17 age level, to where, you're looking at those guys and want them to excel in your program on practices, off the ice and training, and develop them to where in a year or two, they're going to be impact guys. Right. But then mainly our roster this year is 18 to 20-year-olds. We do have quite a bit of 20-year-olds on this year's team. So last year, in our recruiting process, that's something that we took into account for was, we want to be competitive first and foremost, right? But we want to recruit where we can recruit these guys to hopefully enjoy their time in Pueblo, understand our culture and our structure of practices on a day in and day out, understand the workout aspect of it at training at PBR, and want to come back for a second year and use our program as believing in our structure to get them to the next level. And that's something that this year we had the opportunity to get about 12 to 14 guys returning. And we acquired a few others, but we do have an older group this year where it made things a lot easier for us going into year two.
How do you guys work with Pueblos, which this is terrible, but when I was down there, I went to college down there, I was plumb ignorant to the hockey thing. Mm-hmm. How does the youth hockey in Pueblo, I believe Pueblo County carries a program, and I'm not sure if anyone else does, but do they have a midgets program, and how do you guys work with the youth hockey in that area?
Yeah. So the breakdown with the youth program is they do work with the Colorado Springs Tigers under one, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, with USA Hockey. And so there's the Tigers up in the Springs, and then we have the Pueblo Tigers here in Pueblo. So we have 8 U's that skate. Again, that's your house, right? You're just getting out there to skate and have fun. And then we do the squirts, peewees, and bantams. And then there is a high school team here in Pueblo too, the Pueblo Hornets. And the way we try to work with the youth program is actually we have guys every day out on the ice with the youth program. We make it mandatory to where our players again volunteer. We actually just we send out the times and say, hey fellas, we need 2 guys here or 4 guys here that want to work with the youth program. So we make sure all of our guys get out there and communicate with the players, help them in any way possible, help the coaches. So actually probably about from 5 to 9 every night we'll have players out on the ice with the youth program, again helping them any way possible, whether it's pushing pucks, being a stick boy, moving tires, cones, shooting on goalies. But then at the end, they just communicating with them, right? We want, our guys to be role models for these players. At the end of the day, these young youth players look up to our guys and want to, play for the Bulls hopefully one day. And so, that's something that the youth players, your favorite player probably is a Bull player, right? And you want to come watch them on a Friday night, Saturday night. So we believe it's really important having our guys out there giving back as much as possible. And at the end of the day, just again, full circle. You were that young kid once that wanted the high school player, the junior player to come out and just, communicate with, have fun with, and ask them questions about what's it like. Right. And I think you see this where you're from too, with the Wild, that these players are from all over. So you're going to get guys
all over, man.
Yeah.
Canada to Texas.
Yeah.
Utah, they're from all over. Yep.
So we got players from Canada. We got players from California, Minnesota, Czech Republic, England. So when you get to meet these guys on a regular basis on a Monday night or a Wednesday night at your practice, you get to say, hey, I saw you score a goal, or hey, can I have your autograph, or can you help me shoot a puck, whatever it is, right? That's something that's pretty awesome. I think for us to give back is important.
So that's how I ended up as a hockey dad. It was sheer dumb accidental luck. So
Sure.
My daughters want to go to an open skate. This is, like I said, we got into it late. We didn't know we were up here in Gillette. They were doing soccer, volleyball, all that. So the girls want to go to an open skate, learn to skate deal. So we go to the rink. Well, the very first thing when you go to rent skates, you have a choice. You have the blue figure skate ones, or you have hockey. You know what I'm talking about. You have the black, the old beat up black ones, or you have the blue. Well, the girls, they wanted the figure skates. So we get them. We go inside the ring because it's a disaster out front with everyone. So we go in the ring. Our midgets team is practicing. They have a young lady that comes off the ice to where we were, which was in front of where the girls' locker room was. She comes off. She takes her helmet off and just tosses long blonde hair. And both my daughters were like, girls can play hockey? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Apparently, dude, we want the hockey skates. We don't want the figure skates. So we went back in. We traded out the blue ones for the black ones. And that was it, man. We were in a learn to skate. We did a learn to play hockey. And the next year we were on a squirts team. Just bam, bam, bam. And it was all because of one time seeing one older kid, this young lady, come off the ice. And they were like, oh, that's how it starts.
It is. It's when you look back at things again, it's the small stories that you're like, man, what if that went to happen? Where would things be at now, right? Or would the love of the game be for a different sport or whatever? And that's something that I have a younger sister, and before we moved to Warroad, she didn't play hockey. We moved to Warroad again. It's kind of the only thing you do up there. She got into hockey very late. I believe at that time she was 12 years old, 13 years old, skated for her first time. I remember her first season. It was, just a change, right? It's nothing she's never done before. Last game of the year, she scores her first goal.
Yep.
And then she went on.
And then we're going to need that puck. We're going to need that puck. Yep.
We went on. She went on to play high school, and again, the history back where I'm from in Warroad, the expectations to win a state championship every year, and that's something that our girls program back home has been incredible. The growth that they've had. They've won a number of state championships. They moved players on to play Division I. Gigi Marvin, she's an Olympic gold medalist, Olympic silver medalist. She goes back every summer and has her own camp. But I still can remember vividly to this day. My sophomore year, we ended up losing the state championship game. My junior year, we made it to state, won the third place game. And then my senior year, we lost. And I remember my junior year, or it was actually my senior year, sorry. My sister ended up making the high school team, and she won a state championship. And I can just vividly remember to this day, she called me after and she goes, I won a ring before you. And I was, dang, this is something that, again, I'm so proud of her and what she was able to accomplish. But, being the competitive nature myself, I didn't like the chirp she was able to, throw back away.
Okay, Jack, let's get back to the Bulls.
Got it. Who are some players to watch for this upcoming season?
Yeah, we got a number of them. That's something that, being in year two has been exciting for us. Where do I start? I'll be honest with you, Jack. Ben St. Ange, he's from Quebec, Canada. He's a smaller little left-handed forward for us, but he's dynamic, man. He's one to watch. He's one that if you come down to the rink, you're going to want to come back and watch more. He hit 100 points last year in his first junior season. We ended up actually acquiring him through a trade last year, halfway through the year. But was it just not this past week and the weekend before? He hit 100 points in Bulls history, being the third player to do that. And I think only 48 games. And so he's dynamic. He's so much fun to watch. His hockey IQ is through the roof. Plays at such an elite level. But he does the small things, and I think that's what makes him special. Is he doesn't forget about the D zone. He's not worried about blocking shots. But to name a few others, we got a forward from the Czech Republic, Milan Bretsko. He's actually the first player for us that was a player we recruited from the Czech Republic. So he was our first European player at the time last year. We ended up obviously getting a couple more, but he's another Bulls player that has 100 points in our organization's history. His speed is phenomenal. You watch him, he flies up and down the ice. He's got an NHL shot. But again, what makes him special is his compete level. You never think he quits on a play. Wyatt Andrews, our captain, he's a Minnesota boy. He's an all-around player. That's why he wears the captain letter for us. Again, he's a special player to watch, to where he takes care of both zones. We got another centerman in Cale Lone. He's actually from the Denver area. He graduated high school in Colorado. He was Colorado Player of the Year 2 years ago. Where else can we go? We got Brig Newhold, Mikey Power. On the back end, we got Gavin Andrews, who's actually a brother to Wyatt. They're actually triplets. We couldn't get the third one here, unfortunately.
Holy cow.
But back there, you got, like I said, Gavin. We just acquired Tanner Glassrud from another Minnesota boy, but he's big. He's 6'6", 6'7", plays the body, likes to fight, does the tough stuff for us. Connor Williams, phenomenal puck-moving defenseman, compete levels through this roof, very reliable, steady. And then you go to our goalies. We got four tremendous goalies. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of incredible. We got Doug Wakeland, who's an age-out guy this year. Alex Houston, Blake Sproul. Those are two guys that hopefully we can have the opportunity to get back next year. And then we got a fourth one in TJ, who he's a younger guy. He is kind of one of those young guys that I mentioned earlier in the age process, where we want him this year to develop under these older guys that play the more games, compete in practice, and we expect him to be a big goalie for us, in next year or the year after. Again, he's got 3-4 years of junior to take advantage of. So man, I feel like I could name our whole roster. That's to name a few, but we have a special group of guys here in Pueblo that we're hoping that can accomplish something special.
Who is your favorite hockey, or what do you do in your free time now? We'll get to that later.
What do I do in my free time right now? Well, unfortunately, the weather's reminding me of back home, so I'm trying to stay warm. But I think one thing for me is, I try to just get out and enjoy the scenery that Colorado has to offer. Back home, just going on car rides, that was something that I enjoyed doing. So doing that here, finding a little peace and quiet away from the rink, taking your mind off of things there. I'm a big golfer, so again, outside of this last week here in Pueblo with the weather, I enjoy golfing a lot. That's something that was really exciting to me when I first moved to Pueblo, that you can golf, 10 months out of the year. So enjoy golfing. During the summer months, I do enjoy getting out on the lake and going out there, doing some fishing and things like that. But again, I'm a hockey nut. So if I can be in the rink, I'd love to be in the rink every day.
What have you found in Pueblo that mainly where I'm going with it is green chili?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I'm up here, the first time I make a pot of green chili and take it to work, they just sat there and they looked at it and they were like, well, is this like soup? And I'm like, no, it's green. They had none. What it must have been like the first time in El Paso when they put ice down and everyone's like, what the hell is this? So is that stuff that you're finding cool? I'm guessing, so when you're in El Paso, you probably got a little of that. But what are some of the cool things you've stumbled across in Pueblo that maybe you weren't expecting when you got there?
Again, the first part, right, is everything's extra spicy down here with the green chili aspect of things. And I'm not a spice guy. Ketchup is a spice for me. So obviously, you can see that, I wear glasses and such, but these puppies come off when, something gets a little hot. So I'm a huge slopper guy. When we first came down here, our head coach, Chris Wilhite, he actually had he's from Colorado Springs area. That's where he played his AAA hockey and stuff. And
there's Surdich probably.
Yep. He played for the Miners.
Okay.
His family's originally from California. They ended up moving to his older brother played for the Miners as well. So they ended up moving to Colorado when he was in high school. He played AAA up there and then went on to El Paso as well. But he played AAA with a few local boys here in Pueblo. And so we came down here and just went to a Friday morning men's league skates or whatever. And we went over to Coors Tavern after. I can remember his buddy Tyler. He goes, "Hey, you got to get a slopper." I'm like, "What's a slopper?" Right. And so I get this, plate put in front of me and he's like, "Well, there's 2 burgers under there. There's some green chili and some fries." And I was like, "Man, where are the burgers?"
Yeah, like, they're in there.
So once I had my first slopper, I'll be honest with you, and it's no disrespect to Coors Tavern because I know they have phenomenal burgers, they have phenomenal food, but I will not get anything else other than a slopper there. I think that's the only thing you get there.
Yeah, and a cold beer, and it doesn't matter morning, noon, or night. Yeah, you're not ever going to get any flack if that's what you. No, you'll be fine with that.
I think that's been one thing. And then one thing I caught early on in El Paso too. That's been here. I live on the south side of town, and not just south side. It's all over. But breakfast burritos. I'm a sucker for a good breakfast burrito.
Yeah, Betty's makes a good one. Yep.
You got Betty's. You got Los Carnales. You got Hidalgo's. I mean, there's so many options, and so. I think that's one thing that, again, being from a small town, northern Minnesota, you have the family restaurants that are always good, right? But then going to El Paso where there's, a million people and the city's, 45 minutes wide, there's so many hole-in-the-wall places that just go unnoticed. And that's something that I wanted to, put my time in here in Pueblo is finding those places that you can't beat and you can't miss them. And anytime you can go buy a Betty's burritos or go down and get a slopper or, whatever the case may be, I'm all in. So those are kind of a few things that are something that, was pretty awesome to learn early.
I also order a slopper every time.
Attaboy. Yeah, no, I don't live too far from Graham's Grill either. I go there and take advantage of, I guess yesterday, my days get all mixed up with the games on the weekend, but taking advantage of their Monday special with the half off burgers. I think that is a deal. You can't beat it.
No, nope.
That's another place that I don't live too far from where I think, again, 5-star across the board.
Okay. Who is your favorite hockey player of all time?
Ooh. So it's a good question. That's a tough question, my friend. Growing up, I guess coming through the time of when I was probably what it would have been like back in like 04, 05, 06, somewhere in there. I was just a young one, but YouTube was just coming out there. And so I fell in love with Alex Ovechkin. I wore number 8 in high school. I wore number 8 in juniors. He was one of my players and still is, players today that I just truly enjoy watching. I think the excitement he brings to the game day in and day out, on the ice, off the ice, you can tell that's something that he just enjoys being a hockey player. So Alex Ovechkin, I think would be my number one. Close favorites. You can't go wrong, obviously, with Sidney Crosby. Big TJ Oshie guy. TJ Oshie actually graduated from Warroad, Minnesota. He won 2 state championships there. And then I have a cousin, Brock Nelson, who plays for the New York Islanders. So I'm a big fan, obviously, of his too. So I follow him, watch all his games, and keep a close eye on how the Islanders are doing. But slowly but surely here, a couple players off the Avs. I love Cale Makar. I think he's incredible on the back end, and then you can't go wrong with Nathan McKinnon either. So again, tough call, but if I got to give you a sole number one, I got to go the grade 8 Alex Ovechkin.
Okay, Jack's got one more before he does his. I'm going to do my last one.
Sure.
How much does it suck right now with the fan situation and stuff with the COVID and the hockey? Like, just what the NHL did, they still put on a hell of a lot better product than anybody else did, and their games are competitive. But we talked a little bit about having been to NHL playoff games with the fans and stuff. But for the guys that are still competing in Pueblo and the people that aren't getting to come out, like, how much of a difference does it make when the fans are there, and just how much more fun is the hockey environment when there's people there?
Yeah, no, I think that's again, you touched on it. It does suck. It sucks a lot that we're not able to have our incredible fan base in the ice arena. One thing that you look back on the start of the Bulls organization and things that make us successful, and you can't but say game day on Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday afternoon in Pueblo makes us successful. I mean, the amount of support we don't only get from our season ticket holders, our fans, our sponsors, you name it, across the community. It makes it special here in Pueblo to play. And I know we're early on in our existence of only being, in year 2, but before the pandemic hit, we were rising at a scale that was absolutely incredible. You get the question, all the time, what's something that could be better? What's something that you want to try to, do on those aspects, and fans are never something that comes up. Year 1, looking at it, we had over about 120 season ticket holders in year 1. Looking at that, that's just about 15% of the people we can get in the building, right? And so for us, again, the ice arena is down here in Pueblo is different. It's built different, right? You got the low roof, you got the wood ceiling. It attracts noise like you will never believe. And then, we played 24 home games last year. We had an average of 600 fans the first half of the year. Going into the second half of the year, we averaged 750, and we sold out 7 times out of 24 home games. And then the scale of the season ticket holders going into our last weekend in Pueblo, when we were selling season tickets, we got just about 250 season ticket holders to either renew or purchase new season tickets going into year 2 here. We actually had to cut it off right about March, just not knowing when our season ended. But we didn't know what the future was going to hold, right? If we were going to get past the pandemic earlier, allow people in the building. So we actually had to put that on hold. But it's a big difference. It's a game changer for us. Right now we're sitting at first place in the division. Obviously, you have the in-game adjustments as far as you get last change when you're the higher seed in playoffs. You get those types of things. You get to sleep in your own bed. All those check boxes. But tell you what, it's very hard for a team to come in here and get momentum, gain any traction, whatever you want to call it, when there's 850,000 people screaming down the back of your neck, and you're getting goosebumps because you've never had to face this challenge before. And on our side, we got 20 guys that it's just another game day. They feed off of it, the energy. You don't get tired. And so that's something that, I'll be honest, there's probably a few games this year that if we were able to have our fans in the building, there's probably a different outcome. You can feel the momentum change in a game. You can feel things like that to where we're facing a little adversity at home, which is never a bad thing, but you're not used to it, right? And so when you face the little bit of adversity, it only takes one play, it takes one shot, one hit, one block shot, whatever it is, to get 800 people screaming and shouting to where whatever just happens out the door and the momentum's back. But last year, you have one of our tremendous fans and sponsors in Jeff Biddle that I think he bought like 200, horns or whatever you want to call them, and you get 200 horns in the ice arena. It's loud. Our team sponsor and A&K Roofing, they got I think they bought 3,000 of those blow up things where they just sit there and bounce them off each other.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about there, and
yep, the slapsticks or
whatever. The slapsticks or however you want to call it. It's so loud you can't even think, right? And I remember last year we were playing Noco at home, sold out last game, the home game of the year, and we ended up scoring in overtime. And I vividly remember
the place went nuts.
You couldn't even think. You had no idea what was going on. I remember taking a step back and just taking it all in, looking around and just saying, man, if this is year one, we're going to have 24 sellout games next year and nobody's going to be able to beat us. And so, hopefully we've been working on a few things here, working with the local government and the ice arena to hopefully allow us to get some fans back in the building here shortly. And that's, outside of the 200 by 85 foot ice arena, that's something we've been working really hard at trying to do is get our, fans back in the building. Cause again, they bring the energy for us. They bring a lot of momentum. We feed off of it. And our guys, at the end of the day, want to play in front of the people that support them. And so hopefully here soon we can get people in there, but yeah, you nailed it. It does suck, but looking back at videos and remembering when we did have people, it was something special, and hopefully we can get back to that soon.
Okay, Jack, last one.
What was the greatest moment of your hockey playing and coaching careers?
Ooh, playing in high school, obviously getting to the state tournament. Like you said, 2 out of the 3 years in high school, I had the opportunity to be on some really good hockey teams where we won some section championships, getting down to St. Paul and playing down at the Xcel Energy Center. That's something that is very special as a Minnesota-born player. It's something you dream of as a kid, that you want to play in down at the Xcel where the Minnesota Wild play, where your favorite NHLers skate and play. So that's something that is very special. In juniors, like I touched on before, I had an opportunity to win a league championship and a national championship. So I was able to, at that point, get to call my sister and say, hey, I got a ring now too. And something that I look back and was very exciting for me. As far as coaching, I think for me, I think it's what's going to come at the end of the year here. I think, like I said earlier, that we have some special things here in Pueblo. We believe we have a team that can win a division championship and win a national championship. So hopefully, let's look at our calendars here, Jack, and let's set up another Zoom call and podcast here March 19th week there, and then I'll answer your question, and hopefully it'll be a national championship for the Bulls.
All right.
Done. Got her down. We got her marked down.
Cool.
David, thank you. This is hands down the longest we've kept anybody. So I apologize if you had any plans, but dude, I could talk hockey. We could go till 10 if you wanted to.
Yeah,
but,
I
we appreciate it. I got the hockey TV. So I watch you guys, the whole program. You do a great show from introductions to everything is just, it's great. I will get down there at some point when fans are there, and I will bring Jack and we will go watch. We will come down there and do some hockey.
Yeah, let's do it. No, I appreciate guys, having me on. Your guys' support, and again, not just allowing me to, talk my background and the Bulls, and once things open up, get down and let me know, and we'll get you in, let's set up and do this again. I think this is pretty awesome of you guys to have this podcast and doing the Zoom calls. And I don't know, Jack, what do you think? We could get a player on here or something here in the next couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Let's do her.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Sweet, man. Thank you, David.
Yep. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
All right. Again, thank you to Mr. Nelson for taking some time out with us. I'm sure the northern boy being down there in Pueblo where he likes to golf, he's got to be in heaven because I think he could probably golf down there year round. So I'm looking forward to when things loosen up, getting you in there and going down there and watching a Bulls game.
Yes.
Because you've been to them before, correct?
Yeah, once.
Okay, we got to get you to some more. So they're a good time. Okay, now we're going to move on from hockey. We're going to talk professional tackle football. So the game is on Sunday. Tampa Bay,
Kansas City.
and is that who we're going with?
No, I'm going with Tampa Bay 24-21.
Ooh, that's relatively low scoring.
Yeah, but
How do you think it goes? Is it Brady does something late, they build a lead early and they hold them off, or how do you see the game going?
I think that it's gonna be close game throughout, but I think the Bucks are gonna pull it out. I'm rooting for the Chiefs, but I think the Bucks. But
the Broncos fan in me, like, I mean, I don't hate the Chiefs. I like Andy Reid and I like Mahomes, and I know Mahomes is, tied with you guys through the Texas Tech ties. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to. Does it feel like it's big a deal? Is the Super Bowl? Are you as excited about it as you are like when the WrestleMania rolls around and stuff like that? Does it still have the big event feel for you?
Yeah.
So are you going to sit down and study and watch commercials? Or are you going to pay attention to that stuff?
Pay attention. I'm going to pay attention to everything.
Okay. How many boards have you got in play too? Because I know I'm on one for you guys. How many different boards?
I'm not in any, but our family is in like 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah, because you're on the management side of running them from some of your baseball teams and stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, cool.
Oh, wait. First, I need to do my stat predictions.
Oh, yeah. Let's do your stat before we get out of here. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, 17 for 29, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
Okay.
Best rusher, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 14 rushes for 55 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
Top receiver, this dude named Nick Kaiser. He's the tight end. He's like the second tight end to Travis Kelce. 2 receptions for 86 yards and a touchdown. And one of them is a 64-yard touchdown. And then the Chiefs punter punts 9 times.
That seems like a lot.
It's not when you're playing the Bucks.
Okay.
And then Tom Brady, 27 for 42, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interception. Best rusher, Ronald Jones, 17 rushes for 73 yards and a touchdown. Top receiver, Mike Evans, 2 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown, including a 65-yarder. And then the Bucks punter, Bradley Pinion, also punts 9 times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Both teams have pretty good defenses, and I don't think with all the losses on offense, I don't think that they're going to be able to get into the zone.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll be watching. I'm excited. Girls will have a game in the morning. We'll come home and do some chicken wings and get set down and get ready to watch some football. So
wait, first I want to see if Mike Pinnell's stats.
Okay.
Nothing.
He'll have a couple big tackles.
Wait, let me see if I see his name. Here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 people get tackles, but Mike Pennell's not one of them.
I don't believe that. I think we'll see him get one.
Yeah. I don't even know what these picks are. I don't agree with them, but it's the stats, and the stats are the stats.
Where do you stand with Jensen? You think will he get a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for being aggressive? You think he'll get one or no?
No.
You don't think so? I think he might. I think there's a chance he might. He's smart. He won't do it at a dumb part of the game, but if someone does something wrong to Brady, I could see him throwing down.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well.
And I'm also picking the Bucks long snapper to get a tackle, and then, yeah, I'm picking the Bucks long snapper to get a tackle.
Okay. We'll write that down too. Well, like the executive producer wants us to do, give us the good outro here.
That's it for this week's edition of the Paradox of Sports podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Really help out the channel. I was planning to do like all of that and like really fast.
You did it pretty good though. That was pretty smooth.
Like the start of it.
Yeah. No,
Here,
that's
could I
that's
try
perfect.
again?
Do it again.
Okay. That's it for this week's edition of the Paradox of Sports podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. It will really help out the channel. See you next week.